Coming up tonight on YCN News, GOP candidate for Congress Marilinda Garcia stops in downtown Claremont, New Hampshire to visit with residents. Part-time associates at market basket stores in New Hampshire and Massachusetts are being laid off. And 2 teenage girls are missing from a summer camp in Vermont. For more news, weather, and sports, it's time for YCN, your local view.
Now, your daily digest of the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region, southern Vermont, and Windsor County. News, sports, weather, and all that is happening in our area. The news on YCN, your local view.
Good evening, and welcome to this Thursday edition of YCN News. I'm Rose Spillman. GOP candidate for Congress Marilinda Garcia stopped in downtown Claremont today for a brief stop with residents. Garcia met with several men and women, everyone gathered around a table at the Java Cup on Pleasant Street. Born in 1983, Garcia is one of 3 Republican challengers for the Congressional District 2 seat, now held by Democrat Ann McLean Custer. Garcia lives in Salem and is a state rep for the Rockingham County District. Her committee assignments include Finance and the Joint Committee of Finance and Ways and Means. Our next story regards a busy intersection in Claremont and a reminder to motorists and pedestrians. It may be another 6 weeks before the traffic lights at Lower Broad Street, CVS, and Ramuto's Brick Oven Pizza are repaired. Instead of seeing the traditional red, yellow, and green lights, for about the last 2 weeks a flashing red or yellow light warns people, cyclists, and drivers to proceed with caution. The part needed to restore the lights is on order, a city employee confirms. Part-time associates at market basket stores in New Hampshire and Massachusetts are being laid off. So many calls came in to the New Hampshire Attorney General's office that a press release was issued by Joseph Foster. In his statement, General Foster also points out the difference between Bay State and Granite State store workers. Callers to the New Hampshire office told Foster's office that they were instructed to call the Attorney General's office upon receiving their work layoff slips. Unlike the Massachusetts Attorney General's office, its New Hampshire counterpart does not handle unemployment issues. Instead, the state's Employment Security and Department of Labor do. Foster is sensitive to employees' concerns and outlines what laid-off market basket associates need to do next. Claims can be filed online at nhes.nh.gov. For questions that cannot be answered at the site, NHES can be reached at 603-223-6126. For individuals who do not have access to a computer, any of the state's employment security offices do. Staff will be there to guide job loss claim forms. Also, any other wage and hour questions should be placed to the state's Department of Labor at 603-271-3176. The New Hampshire Department of Labor site also can be reached online at nh.gov/labor. As strained relations between store associates and supervisors loyal to former Market Basket CEO Arthur T. Demoulas and the 2 new CEOs following cousin Arthur S. Demoulas' lead continue, a Boston media company reports that Hannaford supermarket chain may make a bid to purchase the Market Basket chain. Layoffs of part-time store associates are due to profits slashed by the labor strife as deliveries to Market Basket's 71 stores have been stopped and customers are shopping elsewhere. And as back-to-school shopping is about to kick into high gear, the work to renovate 2 Claremont schools will be adjusted. SAU 6 Superintendent Dr. Middleton McGoodwin, in an email to YCN News, assures the community that construction and energy upgrades at the Claremont Middle School and Stevens High School is moving forward as scheduled. Yet some extra time will be needed to get classrooms in tip-top shape for students at both schools. As a result, McGoodwin notes, both schools will begin the 2014-15 school year 2 days later than first planned, on August 27th. The city's 3 elementary schools will begin as scheduled on August 25th. CMS Principal Paulette Fitzgerald and Stevens Principal Patricia Berry will be contacting parents and students with additional information. When YCN News returns, we'll continue with more news.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Rose Spillman. 2 teenage girls are missing from a summer camp, and the Vermont State Police seek the public's help in locating them. 16-year-old Rachel Miltenberg and 14-year-old Bernadette Doyle were last seen yesterday night at midnight. When counselors checked on the girls this morning, both were missing. Miltenberg and Doyle are participating in the True North program located in the Green Mountain National Forest in Granville, Vermont. Miltenberg is petite at 5 feet 2 inches tall and 92 pounds. She has shoulder-length dirty blonde hair and blue eyes. She was wearing tan pants, a navy blue fleece, and pink or salmon-colored button-up shirt. Doyle is very tall, 5 feet 11 inches and about 117 pounds. She has brown eyes and light brown hair, about mid-back length. Doyle was last seen wearing tan pants, a pink and blue button-up shirt, and a red fleece. She was wearing socks but no shoes. Police say the girls are believed to have left the camp willingly, yet there are no leads on the direction they headed or if they were picked up. Search teams, including a state police canine team, are looking for the girls. If you have any information on the whereabouts of either teen, call the Vermont State Police's Royalton Barracks at 802-234-9933. Flags throughout the state of New Hampshire are flying at half-staff today in honor of former First Lady Catherine Gregg. Catherine served as First Lady during her husband, Governor Hugh Gregg's 1953 to 1955 term. Former Governor Gregg died in 2003. Catherine and Hugh Gregg are the parents of former New Hampshire Governor, U.S. Senator, and Congressman Judd Gregg. In a tribute to Catherine Gregg, Governor Maggie Hassan says the former First Lady's service to the state remained constant. Catherine Gregg, throughout her life, worked to preserve the culture, history, and natural beauty of New Hampshire. She touched countless lives in many different communities. Hassan and first husband Tom extend their condolences to the Gregg family. Driving 35 miles above the posted speed in Royalton, Vermont has resulted in a California resident being charged by state police with excessive speed and careless and negligent operation. 32-year-old Stephen Todd of Spring Valley was clocked driving 100 miles per hour yesterday afternoon around 1:46 p.m. Todd drove southward along I-89 near the Royalton mile marker. Troopers from the Vermont State Police Traffic Operations Unit stopped Todd. He was arrested and processed by police on the charge. The posted speed on that stretch of I-89 is 65 miles per hour. Todd is scheduled to appear in Windsor District Court on October 14th to answer to the charge. A grant through the U.S. Forest Service will benefit preservation of 2 of Vermont's working forests. U.S. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack made the announcement yesterday in Washington, D.C. In all, 7 forest sites will benefit from the Land and Water Conservation Fund award, which totals $14 million, and 28,000 acres of forest will be protected across the country. A working forest is not wilderness, posts the Vermont Tree Farm's website, vermonttreefarm.org. Rather, it is a wooded area, managed or unmanaged, that may feature conservation of wildlife habitats, outdoor recreation, or keeping land and water safe in the forest. 2 working forests in Vermont will benefit. These include the Windham region, that will receive $2,185,000. The project will protect over 6,000 acres of managed woodlands and the creatures that live there. The Windham Forest shares a land connection to the Green Mountain National Forest, about 395,000 acres in all. The award will help the Windham Region Forest protect about 3,200 acres, 15 miles of streams, and keep 45,000 square feet of lake and pond frontage free from development. Also, the Groton Forest Legacy Initiative will receive $1,895,000. This weekend, if you're looking for something fun to get into, you might want to check out this event that Bellows Falls, Vermont has to offer. On Saturday, August 9th, the local radio station Wool is hosting its annual Black Sheep Radio Block Party from 6 to 11 p.m. According to their website, blacksheep.org, there will be live music at Waypoint Center in downtown Bellows Falls. 5 bands will be there, including Rebecca Holtz and The Once Hollow and Sewell. All of the proceeds will go to support the station. So whether you're a fan of the station or just a fan of live music, this lively event will be fun for all. Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Rose Spillman. Now, Matt McDonald will have a look at our weather for the next few days and then move on to sports.
Thanks, Rose. Tonight we'll have patchy fog after 4 a.m. with otherwise partly cloudy skies. Lows will be in the 50s with winds around 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow morning will be foggy until 9 a.m. Skies during the day will be sunny and highs are expected in the 80s and winds up to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow night will be mostly clear with lows in the 50s and calm winds. Saturday will have sunny skies with a high of 83 degrees. Saturday night will be clear with lows in the 50s. As you can see here, some clouds will be passing over us. It may be partly foggy tonight and Friday morning. Then expect a clear and sunny end of the week. Now let's see what's coming up on our community calendar. Tomorrow morning in Claremont, New Hampshire, the Lollipop Carnival will take place from 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. Then tomorrow evening in White River Junction, Vermont, a free show of the Nightingale will be at the Hartford High School at 6 p.m. Also in Hartford, Vermont, the Tupelo Music Hall will host Anna Popovic at 8 p.m. Remember, you can submit local events from your community by sending them to news@ycnnow.com. Last night, the New Hampshire Fisher Cats won another great game. They faced Erie in the second game of the 3-game series. This time, the final score was 3-1. In the top of the first, John Birdie scores the first point for the Fisher Cats after Andy Burns doubles on a fly ball. Point number 2 also took place at the top of the first when Corey Aldridge hits a ground ball and Andy Burns completes a run. Andy Bird makes another run for the third and final point for the Fisher Cats. Thursday night will conclude the series with Erie.